What happens when two presidents share a stage during a national broadcast, and one of them experiences the most unexpected on-camera disaster in years? The moment doesn't just go viral. It exposes something deeper about leadership under pressure. So let me take you straight into it. No warm-up. No easing in. Picture this. Millions of Americans tuned into a nationally televised disaster relief event in Chicago, expecting updates, compassion, leadership, only to walk straight into a moment that would dominate conversations before the broadcast even finished. There's no build-up. No polite introduction. The tension is already there the moment the cameras turn on. Barack Obama stands at the podium, sleeves slightly rolled, voice steady, that familiar calm he carries so easily. The hall at McCormick Place is full. Volunteers, first responders, families who've survived hurricanes, wildfires, floods. People who know hardship better than headlines. Every seat filled. Every camera light glowing red. The air feels charged, not with politics, but with raw human emotion. Obama isn't performing. He's speaking from the heart. He tells a story about a firefighter from Biloxi who hasn't slept in 2 days. The audience listens, leaning in. There's a softness in the room, the kind that comes when everyone shares the same worry. But beneath that softness, something else hums quietly, anticipation. Everyone knows the country's been tense for weeks. Everyone knows tonight could go wrong, and while Obama speaks, stage crew members whisper near the curtains, glancing toward the side entrance as if waiting for someone to appear. Obama notices, pauses for a beat, then continues. His tone remains smooth, but his eyes flick toward the commotion for half a second, just long enough for viewers to wonder what's happening off camera. A woman in the third row leans toward the man beside her. Are they expecting somebody? She whispers. He shrugs. They didn't announce anything. Meanwhile, the event host near the wing keeps checking his phone like he's waiting for a message he won't want to read. The tension spreads in small ways, a cameraman adjusting his lens too fast, a technician tapping his headset, volunteers trading uncertain looks. Obama wraps up the story about the firefighter and shifts toward a broader message of unity. His voice is warm, steady, it grounds the room again. But the tension at the edge of the stage thickens, then an event coordinator steps close to Obama, murmuring something between sentences, a tone attempting to sound casual and failing completely. Obama listens, lifts his chin slightly, murmurs back, "All right." He straightens and continues speaking, but even viewers at home can tell something has shifted. Moments later, a door at the side of the stage opens just enough for a camera operator to catch a shadow of movement. A few audience members tilt their heads. Reporters whisper. A ripple runs through the room as the host steps up to the mic, clearly unprepared. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special arrival." The audience murmurs. Even Obama turns toward the wing, face neutral but curious. From the shadows, a figure steps forward, unmistakably late. President Donald Trump. He strides in with the confidence of someone used to cameras snapping at his entrance. A few people clap automatically. Others stay silent. The room shifts again, tighter, sharper, electric in a whole new direction. Trump was not announced. He was not scheduled. And the timing could not be more uncomfortable. Obama steps back from the podium to let him through, and for a second the two men exchange a glance that says everything without a word. Not anger. Not surprise. Just a quiet acknowledgement. Whatever was supposed to happen tonight isn't happening anymore. Security stiffens. People in the front row exchange looks. Someone whispers, "What is he doing here?" Obama watches Trump approach the podium with calm composure, hands folded loosely. The contrast between them doesn't need commentary, it speaks loudly on its own. Trump adjusts the microphone, despite Obama having used it seconds earlier. He lifts a hand halfway in greeting, pauses, and waits. The applause lands awkwardly, scattered, unsure. In that brief pause, before anything begins, the whole room seems to recognize the night is shifting into territory no one could have predicted. Then comes the part no one could have imagined. Trump's entrance doesn't land the way he expects. The applause is scattered, thin. Cameras capture every detail, Obama stepping aside, people shifting in their seats, Trump walking slowly toward the podium as if the place belongs to him. The tension grows, not loud or dramatic, but heavy enough that people hold their breath without noticing. Trump taps the mic again. "Thank you, thank you. Great to be here," he says, gesturing wide. "Really tremendous turnout. Unbelievable, actually." His voice fills the hall, but the reaction he wants doesn't follow. A few polite claps. A couple forced smiles. Most people just watch, unsure. Obama moves slightly to the side, hands clasped, expression calm, almost relaxed. It's the look of someone completely unfazed by the interruption. Maybe even ready for it. A reporter whispers, "This wasn't on the program." The reply comes low, "He came in hot. This is gonna get weird." Trump keeps talking, praising volunteers, mentioning response efforts, yet every sentence circles back to himself. Long, winding, self-congratulatory lines that fill time without landing anywhere meaningful. Obama listens politely, occasionally glancing at the crowd as if checking whether they're following the shift in tone. Then Trump pauses, turns toward Obama, and says, "Barack, didn't expect to see you giving speeches tonight. I thought I'd, stop by and bring a little energy." A few chuckles ripple through the room, not supportive, just nervous. The kind of laugh people use when they don't know what else to do. Obama smiles lightly. It's the kind of smile that's polite on the surface but carries a deeper meaning beneath it. "Well," Obama replies softly, always happy to see folks committed to helping out. Trump lets out a short laugh, as if he's just scored a point, but there's a flicker in his eyes, a quick, involuntary realization that the room leans toward Obama, not him. A woman wearing a volunteer badge leans to the person beside her and murmurs, "You can feel the difference. Obama talks like he's here for us. Trump talks like he's here for himself." As Trump keeps speaking, the host shifts uneasily near the wing. This event wasn't meant to become political theater. It was supposed to be about unity. But with both men on stage now, that sense of unity feels like a fragile illusion. Trump starts pacing a bit, gesturing broadly, tossing out jokes meant to land, but they wobble awkwardly in the air. "Folks, you won't believe the incredible numbers we've seen, biggest support efforts, maybe ever." Two firefighters exchange weary glances. One mutters under his breath, "We're not numbers." Obama hears it. He gives the men a subtle nod, an acknowledgement, small but grounding. His presence feels steady, rooted. Trump, by contrast, seems restless. Reactive. Then something subtle shifts, a moment so small it's easy to miss. Obama takes half a step forward, just enough to stand closer to the podium, not confrontational. Just present. The room responds instantly, phones lift, eyes shift, the air recalibrates itself without a word spoken. Trump notices. His fingers tighten around the microphone, his expression tightening just slightly. He forces another smile, saying something about tremendous coordination, but the words blend together, losing their impact, and then Obama speaks, calm, gentle, precise. "I think what people want to hear tonight, Donald, is how we're supporting the families who've lost everything." The room goes still, not tense, not hostile, just motionless, like everyone is holding the same breath. Trump chuckles, but the sound is thin. "Well, of course, nobody supports families more than I do. Nobody." Obama's reply is quiet, but sharp enough to slice through the air. "Then let's make sure they're the focus." A wave of silent tension rolls through the hall. This is no longer just a disaster relief event. It's a struggle for control, played out not in shouting, but in tone, timing, posture. A staffer at the back whispers, "This is turning into a showdown." Trump shifts his stance, clears his throat, and pulls a sheet of paper from his jacket. The words he reads sound rehearsed, tight, hurried, scrambling to reassert control. Obama listens with the patience of someone who's seen this kind of performance before. The air grows heavier, people sense the balance tipping, visually, emotionally. Obama's quiet steadiness fills every gap Trump leaves in his rush to dominate the space. The contrast becomes clearer through the smallest details, posture, breath, the rhythm of their pauses, and then the moment arrives. Trump gestures grandly toward the audience, stepping just a little too far toward the edge of the stage. directly under the cluster of lights and vents overhead. No one pays attention to it yet, not the host, not the crowd, not even Trump, but Obama glances up for a split second, almost instinctively, as if sensing something shifting above them. What happens next transforms an uncomfortable rivalry into something the country never expected to witness live. Trump is standing squarely beneath the lighting rig and the vents clustered like a metal spine across the ceiling. Backstage, technicians have been whispering about those vents for the past 20 minutes, trying to recalibrate a faulty airflow system after a glitch earlier. No one expected the former president to march straight into the strongest draft zone under the entire venue, but there he is, center stage, chin high, hand raised, speaking louder and faster. As if volume alone can steady the increasingly unsteady energy in the room, Obama watches him with a steady, observant expression, not smirking, not stressed, just taking in every detail, the way someone does when the air changes but the danger hasn't fully taken shape yet. Trump keeps talking, drifting from talking points into scattered commentary. We've done incredible work, amazing work. You've never seen a response like this. People are saying, and then the vents kick on, not gently, not gradually, but with a sudden blast of cold air that sweeps across the front rows, sending papers fluttering like startled birds, before funneling straight down onto Trump's head. At first, it's subtle, a small lift at the front of his hairpiece, something that could pass as a faint breeze brushing through hair. A few audience members blink, unsure of what they just saw. Trump doesn't notice. He's speaking louder now, gesturing even wider, but the vent doesn't shut off. Its sensor is stuck, pumping a steady, far too powerful stream of air. Backstage, a young tech mutters, "Oh no, oh no, no, no," slamming buttons on his headset. Another whispers fast, "We can't shut it down." The override isn't responding. On stage, the blast grows stronger. This time, the movement is unmistakable. The front edge of Trump's hairpiece lifts, not gently, not slightly, but high enough to reveal a line of scalp beneath. A gasp sweeps across the hall. Cameras zoom in instinctively, then jerk back out just as fast, unsure what they're allowed to show. Trump pauses mid-sentence, blinking as stray strands whip across his forehead. He reaches up to smooth them, but touching it only makes everything worse. The hairpiece shifts, tilts to the left, slides half an inch toward his temple. It doesn't fall off. Not it just sits there, crooked, unstable, like a hat someone threw on in the dark. A young woman in the fourth row covers her mouth, whispering, "Oh my gosh." Her friend quickly elbows her, whispering back, "Don't laugh, don't you dare laugh." Cameras are everywhere. But he's already shaking, trying not to burst out. Trump keeps talking, pretending nothing is wrong. He forces a smile, but his eyes dart around the room, trying to understand why the atmosphere has shifted, why people are squirming in their seats, biting their lips, covering their faces. Another gust hits him from above, harder this time. The hairpiece slides again, not enough to fall, but enough to sit diagonally across his head, revealing even more scalp and forming a shape that's unmistakably chaotic. The tension in the room fractures. It doesn't break into laughter yet, but it cracks. A firefighter in the second row leans toward his colleague and whispers, "Tell me I'm not seeing that." "You're seeing it," the colleague replies, eyes glued to the stage. Trump tries to continue, but there's a tremor in his voice, a flicker of panic he can't hide. He reaches up, trying to push the hair back into place with fumbling fingers. It won't stay. The vent keeps blasting. Every attempt to fix it only makes the situation look worse. Obama, standing a step behind, watches with a calm so steady it borders on surreal. His eyebrows rise just slightly, not mocking, not cruel, simply stunned. He glances toward the crowd. They glance back, and for a brief moment, there's a silent understanding, a collective awareness that everyone is witnessing something they definitely shouldn't be seeing, yet absolutely cannot look away from. Trump finally stops speaking. He angles himself sideways, trying to escape the direct blast. But the moment he shifts right, the airflow shifts with him, hitting him again. It's almost comical. His frustration begins to seep through the cracks. He mutters into the mic, "Somebody fix that thing." The comment comes out raw, unpolished, exposing the embarrassment bursting through his usual confidence. Obama remains composed, hands clasped, eyes steady, not gloating, not provoking, just waiting. The audience, however, is seconds away from losing it. A man in the fifth row snorts, trying to hold back laughter. A woman wipes a tear forming at the corner of her eye from the strain of staying silent. Someone in the back coughs loudly, too loudly, to hide a chuckle, and the cameras, they capture everything. They don't zoom in, but they also don't dare cut away. Trump makes another frantic attempt to reset the hairpiece that he presses too hard this time. The piece shifts again, folding slightly at the corner. A ripple passes through the room, the kind that always comes a split second before the floodgates burst open. Obama shifts his weight, inhaling as if preparing to speak. That he doesn't say anything yet. But the anticipation sharpens, stretching across the hall like a drawn wire. Everyone feels the moment building, the entire country teetering on the edge of whatever comes next. And then comes the turning point. Obama steps a little closer to the podium, not aggressively, not even assertively, just present, the way someone steps forward when a room needs grounding. Trump is still fussing with his hair, desperately patting it back into place, but every touch makes it worse. His face is flushed, jaw tight, and though he's trying to hold himself together, the audience can see the panic simmering behind his eyes. A cameraman whispers, "Do we cut? What do we do?" His partner murmurs, "If we cut away now, people will think something worse happened." So they keep the shot wide, hopeful, cautious that it only gets worse. Another hard burst from the vents hits him, the hairpiece lifts again, bending at the front, sticking outward as if gravity has simply given up. Trump slaps his hand up to hold it down, but now the gesture is frantic, uncalculated, revealing just how fragile his confidence has become. 2 volunteers near the aisle crack. One bites her lip so hard it turns white, the other shakes silently, covering his mouth with both hands. A soft wave of muffled laughter rolls through the hall, a pressure valve finally releasing. Trump hears it, and it destroys him. He turns toward the audience, hands lifted defensively. "Look, folks, these vents, they're ridiculous, okay? Who set this up? Who?" It's a desperate attempt to regain control, but the frustration in his voice undercuts any authority he's trying to salvage. Obama stays quiet for several seconds. He watches Trump, not with cruelty, but with an expression that's steady, polite, and edged with something sharper. He waits. He understands timing better than anyone on that stage. The laughter starts to settle, just enough. Just enough for the moment to pivot, and the entire room, without being told to, turns toward him. Obama lifts one eyebrow. A tiny gesture, but in a room like this, it hits like a spark landing on dry leaves. He leans into the microphone and delivers a line with the smoothness of someone who understands comedy, crisis, and timing all at once. "Well, I guess some things just can't stay attached to the truth." Silence, half a second, then the hall erupts, not scattered laughter, a full, uncontrollable explosion of shock and hilarity that shakes the room. People double over, hands over their faces, others stand, clutching their stomachs. The sound bounces off the walls like a rolling quake. Even the backstage crew loses it. Trump goes red, not pink, red. He opens his mouth, hunting for a comeback. But nothing comes out, not a word. Not a sound. His expression twists between outrage and disbelief, and the cameras, they capture every second. They don't dare cut away. This is live television, and the whole world is watching. Even the hosts can't hide their reactions. One of them lifts a stack of papers to cover his mouth. Another turns away completely, shoulders shaking. Obama doesn't push it. He doesn't grin or smirk. He simply steps back with his hands folded, letting the moment breathe. That calm, that restraint, makes the line hit even harder. A firefighter in the third row whispers, "He really said that on live TV." His partner answers, "Man, I'm gonna be laughing about this for years." Trump finally tries to respond, that was rude. Totally uncalled for. But his voice cracks at the end, and the crowd reacts again, a softer wave of laughter, the kind that rolls through a room after it's already crowned a winner. Obama glances at Trump and gives a small, polite shrug, just trying to keep things honest. It lands like a finishing move. Trump adjusts his jacket and looks around as though someone else should be taking the blame. He gestures toward the ceiling again. "These vents are terrible. They shouldn't be on. Someone fix the vents." But the moment is gone for him. The audience has shifted completely toward Obama, not because of politics, but because of steadiness, composure, control under pressure, the contrast is impossible to miss. Phones are already out, clips are being recorded, reactions are spreading online before the broadcast even ends. A teenager in the back whispers, "This is gonna be everywhere in minutes." His friend replies, "Try to." Trump tries to collect himself, but the more he speaks, the more the room leans away. Meanwhile, Obama barely moves, yet somehow commands the entire room without effort. It's in that contrast, deliberate calm versus frantic panic, that the moment becomes bigger than a hair mishap. It becomes symbolic, unavoidable. A cultural flashpoint people will reference for years. The host finally steps forward, trying to regain control. All right, let's bring the focus back to the relief efforts. But the room is still buzzing with leftover laughter and disbelief. It takes a long moment for the crowd to settle. Even then, scattered chuckles bubble up whenever someone glances at Trump's crooked hairpiece. Obama nods respectfully to the audience, letting the host continue. Trump stands beside him, fuming quietly, adjusting his hair, still trying to reclaim the authority he lost. And though the cameras move on, the moment burns itself into the memory of everyone in the hall. But what follows, on stage, between the two men, and behind the cameras, shifts the night into something far more intense than a viral joke. The laughter doesn't fade quickly. It lingers in pockets around the room as people replay Obama's line in their minds. It's the kind of response no host, no producer, no staff member could have predicted, and no camera angle could hide. Trump stands stiffly beside the podium, pretending nothing happened. But his posture betrays him, tight shoulders, shallow breathing, eyes scanning for friendly faces and finding few. Obama, meanwhile, looks composed, not triumphant. Not smug, just steady. The contrast grows sharper by the second. The host tries again to steer the event back on track. Let's refocus on the families and communities affected by the recent storms. But even he stumbles over his words, trying not to smile. Trump cuts in loudly, "Look, I just want to make something very clear. These vents, they were not supposed to be on. Someone set this up wrong. Really wrong." His voice trembles, not dramatically, but enough that the microphones catch it. Obama turns slightly toward him, calm as ever. "Donald, it's just a vent." A ripple of light laughter moves through the room. Trump stiffens. "Well, it ruined the moment." "It's not right." Obama replies gently, "We're here for people who lost their homes. They've had far worse days than a vent acting up." The room goes still, not applause, not laughter, just a quiet that settles after a truth hits harder than expected. A woman in the audience whispers, "He's right." Read the room. Trump looks like he's preparing to fire back, a jab, a comeback, something sharp enough to reclaim his footing, but then he notices the crowd. They're not waiting for him, they're waiting for Obama. That realization hits him fast. He steps away from the mic, adjusting his hairpiece again, making it worse every time he touches it. A cameraman mutters, "Somebody stop him. He's making it worse." Obama steps forward, taking control without forcing it. "What matters tonight," he says, "is that people get the support they deserve." The hall quiets, people lean in. His tone isn't theatrical, it's sincere. People watching this broadcast are in shelters. They're exhausted. Some don't know what next week looks like. The least we can do is give them a moment of clarity. Trump stands beside him, shoulders tight, eyes cast downward. Obama's calm isn't just winning the room, it's restoring the purpose of the event. A survivor seated on stage wipes her eyes and whispers to a volunteer, "He gets it. He really gets it." People want to know their leaders actually see them, not cameras, not applause, them. It's another subtle jab, delivered with kindness but with surgical precision. The audience hears it, Trump hears it, even the technicians backstage exchange uneasy glances. Trump steps forward, trying to grab the mic back. "I see them. I've always seen them." Obama gently places a hand on the podium, signaling he wasn't finished. "Donald, we'll all get a chance to speak. Let's give the families here the time they deserve." It's soft, respectful, but the authority behind it is unmistakable. Trump steps back slowly, swallowing his frustration, his hands curling slightly at his sides. Every attempt he makes to look in control only reveals how quickly he's unraveling. Up front, a few members of Congress exchange glances. One whispers, "He's losing the room." Another murmurs, "He lost it minutes ago." Obama invites a first responder from Houston to the stage. The man steps forward, hands trembling, overwhelmed. Obama rests a reassuring hand on his shoulder, grounding him, and the energy in the hall shifts instantly toward compassion. Trump stands off to the side, half in shadow, still fussing with his hair, muttering under his breath. The cameras catch glimpses of him, but the focus stays on the survivor telling his story. His voice cracking as he recalls the flood. Obama listens fully. No distractions. Trump tries to look engaged, but the contrast is painful. His eyes keep darting, first to the cameras, then to his hair, then back at Obama, like he can't decide which thing he's supposed to control. The survivor finishes. The crowd claps, not polite applause, but heartfelt recognition. Obama nods warmly. Trump claps half a second too late. Another volunteer comes up and shares her experience. Obama listens again. Trump fidgets again. With each story told, the room moves further and further toward Obama's steady presence. By the time the testimonies end, the tension that once filled the hall has shifted completely. The audience sees the difference clearly now, not because of a joke, not because of a hairpiece, but because in a moment of crisis, character shows. Obama steps to the podium. Trump watches him from the side, almost bracing. Obama begins, but suddenly the cameras catch something else. Phones lighting up all across the hall, buzzing, vibrating, spreading notifications like sparks. The viral moment is already exploding online, and people in the audience react as they realize they're trending during the event. Trump notices. Obama notices. The outside world is moving fast, but what's happening online is nothing compared to the wave that hits the moment the broadcast ends. The final speaker steps away from the podium. Applause settles into a warm, gentle wave. The host prepares to close the program, when suddenly, everywhere at once, phone screens flicker on, hundreds of glowing rectangles in the dim audience. At first, it looks like people checking messages or rides home, but then the whispers spread, sharp, quick, electric. Have you seen this clip? It's already everywhere. Oh my, look at this angle. This is blowing up fast. A volunteer in a red vest shows her phone to a friend. The friend's eyes widen, hand covering her mouth, not at the speeches, not at the testimonies, but at Trump's hairpiece. The exact moment the gust knocked it sideways, right before Obama delivered the line heard around the country. Trump hears the murmurs before he sees the screens. His head snaps toward the crowd, eyes narrowing. You can feel him calculating, trying to guess how bad the damage really is. Obama keeps his focus on the host closing out the event, hands folded, expression calm. He isn't concerned with trending clips, but behind him, the digital storm is already building. I in the second row, a young man whispers, "Dude, it's at 2 million views already." His friend replies, "Impossible. It hasn't even been 15 minutes. I'm telling you, look." Across the hall, someone else adds, "There are already memes. Look at this one. This is unreal." Trump surges toward the podium again, interrupting the host. "Before we end tonight, I want to say something." His voice booms, desperate for control. The host stiffens. Obama shifts slightly, offering Trump space but keeping a careful eye on him. Trump presses on. "There have been a lot of unfortunate distractions tonight. I came here to talk about Americans who need help, real help, not jokes, not cheap shots." The room listens, but not the way he wants. Some sit quietly out of respect, others glance at their phones, unable to ignore the tidal wave of notifications. Obama stays calm. He doesn't rush to respond. He doesn't try to overshadow Trump. He doesn't need to. His presence does the work. Trump continues, stumbling. "People are trying to make a big deal about event. It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous." Someone in the back murmurs, "Just stop talking about it, let it die." But Trump can't. "It doesn't matter what happened with the event. I'm focused on the Americans hurting right now. That's what matters." Obama steps forward gently, offering the microphone with an open hand. "We agree on that." Said softly, but it lands with the weight of a gavel. The host moves quickly to close the program, thanking everyone, urging viewers to donate. Applause rises again, steadier, more grounded, but outside the camera frame, the real story is already alive. The moment the broadcast ends, security escorts both presidents toward separate exits. Staff crowd around them, buzzing with questions they don't dare speak aloud. Near Obama's exit, a young woman in the press pool glances at her phone and gasps. Softly, 5 million views. Obama chuckles, not cruelly, just amazed, that fast. Yes, sir, she replies. I think it might be the fastest clip trending tonight. Obama shakes his head, amused. Well, that's the internet for you. Near Trump's side. The energy around Trump is completely different now. His staff circles him in a panic, voices overlapping. Mr. President, networks are calling non-stop. Someone leaked the close-up angle. We need a statement. We could blame the stage crew. No, that'll backfire. Trump raises a hand sharply, cutting them off. Just fix it. Do something. But the truth is, nothing can stop what's already burning through the internet. Outside the venue, a crowd waits behind metal barriers. Some cheer, some chant, some just want to witness the aftermath. When Obama steps out, the cheers swell, phones shoot up like a galaxy of little stars, capturing every wave he gives. A man near the front shouts, "That line was legendary." Obama just smiles, shaking his head, trying to keep the night from spiraling into spectacle. He calls back something modest, deflecting the praise. When Trump emerges, the mood tilts again. Some supporters cheer, but the reaction is scattered, uneasy, overshadowed by everything that just happened. A few people shout, "It was just a vent," or "Ignore the internet." But even they don't sound convinced. News vans choke the street, reporters go live immediately. Social media exploded tonight after an unexpected moment involving the president. Clips have already passed 8 million views. Obama's remark is being replayed across every major platform. Analysts are already calling it the most shocking televised moment of the year. Inside a Chicago newsroom, anchors dissect the night like it's breaking national news. One says, "Moments rarely flip this fast." Another adds, "It wasn't the mishap, it was Obama's timing." Surgical. Across the country, screens glow with the same looping clip. Living rooms, diners, office break rooms, airports, people laugh, gasp, debate, they replay it, send it to friends, analyze every frame. Obama calm. Trump unraveling, the vent, the hairpiece, the line. A perfect storm no writer could invent. But the most unexpected reactions, the ones that reshape the moment entirely, are still rising. What starts as humor evolves into something deeper. The viral storm becomes a lens the country can't look away from. The next morning, America wakes to a whirlwind. Not a weather alert, not a catastrophe, but a single live moment replayed from every conceivable angle. Coffee shops in Atlanta, diners in Kansas City, barbershops in Detroit, airport lounges in Phoenix. Everyone is watching the same 15-second clip. People laugh, sure, people argue, but beneath the humor, a quieter conversation begins. And surprisingly, it starts with the people who were actually there. A teacher from New Orleans posts, "The moment everyone is laughing, it wasn't the moment that mattered most. What mattered was Obama steadying that first responder. That's what leadership looks like." A nurse from Louisville writes, "Trump kept talking about the vent, Obama kept talking about the families. That's the difference." Even journalists who initially focused on the viral chaos begin to shift tone. One morning show anchor says, "We've seen embarrassing live moments before, but this one revealed something bigger, how each leader reacted in real time." And that becomes the heart of the story, because while social media keeps replaying the joke, the country begins replaying the contrast. Obama speaking to survivors with empathy, Obama listening, Obama waiting instead of forcing the spotlight, Obama delivering one sharp line, then immediately refocusing on the families. That's what people remember more than anything else. Meanwhile, at the White House, Trump calls an unscheduled press briefing. His team tries to set a serious tone, but reporters are already loaded with questions aimed directly at the wound. The first one cuts through the room. "Mr. President, do you regret attending the event unannounced?" Trump shoots back immediately, "No, what I regret is the vent. That's what I regret." Another reporter leans in, asking, "Sir, do you feel your reaction on stage reflected the seriousness of the event?" Trump snaps, "The seriousness was ruined by the vent, and by Obama's comment." Someone else, choosing their words carefully, asks, "Do you plan to address the hairpiece situation?" Trump stiffens, jaw tight. "I'm done with these questions." The briefing ends in a hard, awkward cutoff. Clips of the exchange spread instantly, but the reaction isn't the same as the night before. The country isn't just laughing now, they're thinking. The noise begins to settle, and with it comes a truth that's hard to ignore. two men were put under pressure on live television. One unraveled. One didn't. Later that afternoon, Obama releases a short written statement that it's simple. No flair, no PR polish, just a quiet message about supporting families in crisis, about kindness, about accountability. Not a single reference to the event, not a word about Trump, not a hint about the viral moment consuming the internet. The focus stays exactly where he kept it all night, on the people who need help. A political panel later discusses the statement. One commentator says, "This is why people still gravitate toward Obama. He refuses to let the spectacle become the story." Another replies, "Leadership isn't about controlling the room. It's about controlling yourself." That line gets clipped and spreads everywhere. Meanwhile, in Chicago, the volunteers who stood on stage with both presidents gather quietly to reflect. A woman who lost her home in the flood says, "The room felt different when Obama spoke, like he wasn't trying to win anything. He just cared." Another nods and adds, "Maybe that's the lesson. Pressure shows who people really are." And that idea takes hold. Parents talk about it over dinner, teachers bring it up in class, co-workers discuss leadership and humility during lunch breaks. What started as a viral hairpiece moment becomes something else entirely, a spark for a deeper conversation. Later that night, a widely shared op-ed distills the whole thing into one sharp line. A gust of air revealed more than a hairstyle. It revealed the difference between reacting and responding. By the end of the week, the viral shock fades, but the message remains, not a message about embarrassment, a message about character. People begin to understand that strength isn't loud, that it isn't frantic, that it isn't about overpowering a moment. Real strength is calm, real strength is steady, real strength shows up even when the cameras aren't watching, and that's what stays with viewers long after the laughter dies down. Imagine sitting with a friend, the kind who wants to believe leadership still means something, the kind who wonders what separates real leaders from performers. You tell them this, when the spotlight hits, some people crumble, some lash out, some lose the point entirely, but then there are the ones who stay grounded, who stay humble, who stay focused on something bigger than themselves, even when everything around them spins out of control. That's what resonated most that night, not the joke, not the meme, not the chaos, the character, and maybe that's exactly what the country needed to see. Reminder that leadership isn't measured in applause, or bravado, or viral moments, but in how someone carries themselves when things go sideways. If you want more stories like this, stories about pressure, character, and the human moments that define us, make sure you subscribe. There's more ahead, and every story carries a lesson worth holding on to.